Hi, and welcome to Abnormal Psychology. In this course orientation, I have a couple of videos, a number of videos, including this one that's going to focus on just kind of guiding you through your syllabus and giving you a little tour of that and talking about course requirements. There's also a video giving you a sense of how I have Blackboard set up. That video actually is being recycled from an earlier course since the information is the same. And then there'll be a video on just thinking about your term paper. But this one is about your syllabus. You'll always land on this announcements page, and your syllabus, if you haven't found it already, is over here in the left-hand toolbar. If ever you can't see the left-hand toolbar, just make sure you hover here and make sure that it is not collapsed. So if I open the syllabus, and I'm going to open it by clicking here in a new window so we can see it better. Okay. As you probably know, the syllabi are all going to, in all of your courses, are going to look very similar. There's a template that we all need to use, and so at first glance, they'll look very similar, and they all have the same sections for information. This top part is not going to be anything surprising. When we get to the instructor information, you've got my email, my phone number, my office location, and my office hours. Even though you guys are fully online, if you choose to, you should feel absolutely free to come see me in person for a conversation. And you can do that either by just dropping into my office hours. These are hours I promise to be sitting in my office. It is always nice, especially if you're coming to campus specifically to see me, to email me ahead of time, because sometimes I'll have other appointments with other students. And so letting me know you'll come by and what time you'd like to come by is useful. But you can just drop in. They're drop-in hours. I also have times when I could meet outside of my office hours, especially if, for example, you work all day. And needed to meet in an evening, I can arrange evening appointments. Evening appointments will be virtual only. I'm not on campus in the evenings. And I can meet virtually any other time if that's more convenient for you, even during my office hours. That's, keep that in mind. If you just need to ask me a quick question and don't need to actually meet with me, my email is a lot better way of doing that than my phone number. I am on my email frequently and will respond to emails in pretty quick order. If you haven't received an email back from me, if you haven't received a reply back from me within 24 hours of sending an email, that likely means, especially if it's Monday through Friday, that likely means that either your email didn't get to me or I have somehow missed it. And so if you haven't heard from me back in 24 hours, it's not that I'm deliberately not responding to you. And it would be really good to email me again and just say, hey, I emailed you yesterday, I haven't heard back. Prompting me like that will always be fine. And if you're doing that, even forwarding your last email to me in case I didn't get it the first time, always remember if you're typing my email that there are 2 N's and 2 L's in my name. That is the number one reason, missing one of those letters, the number one reason why emails don't get to me. All right, the required textbook, I had sent you guys an earlier email about this. It's the Kring 14th edition, Abnormal Psychology. I think I had sent you a link to actually find less expensive versions of that. And you do not need the Wiley Plus code for that, so feel free to get whatever copy you can of it. In addition, our library does keep copies of all of our textbooks at the circulation desk, and you can borrow those. And so that is another way of making use of our textbook without owning one, and that is fine as well. So let's continue down here, because I think the thing that all of you are going to be most interested in is how you're going to earn your grade. So if we come down to evaluation criteria, I work on a 1,000-point system. Some of you may have been in other classes that have used, either with me or with somebody else, that have used a 1,000-point system. I like the 1,000-point system for 2 reasons. I think, first of all, it's transparent. It's just very simple addition. So there's no weighting of grades or anything else. If you earn 50 points on something, you get 50 points in what I think of as the bucket of points. That bucket is full at 1,000. And so you just keep putting points into that bucket as you earn points throughout the semester. The other thing I really like about the 1,000-point system is that you get to keep whatever points you earn. So let's imagine for a moment that you've got a 50 out of 100 on an exam. That's not great. That 50%, that would normally be an F in a traditional grading system, and an F would count as a 0, which means that even though you knew half the material, you don't get credit for the exam. With 1,000-point system, we're just operating on points. If you got 50 out of 100 points, then you would keep the 50 points. And you lose the 50 points that you didn't earn, but you keep the 50 points rather than having it, you're getting no credit for the exam. And so I really like that as well. So to get to the 1,000, you will have 3 exams during the semester. They'll be worth 120 points each, or 360 points. Those will be essay exams, 4 or 5 essays, depending on the test. And those will be open for a period of days. They'll be really clear on Blackboard what days they'll be clear on your syllabus, what days those will be. And you will have the essay exams ahead of time. So I do that in part to take anxiety away from what I'm measuring when you're taking an exam, so that you have the ability to see the questions, and even, I know, have the ability to prepare ahead of time, so that some of you might choose to prepare ahead and then write in real time during the exam. Some of you, I know, might prepare the questions completely, including writing them out, and then just pasting them into the exam. Just make sure, regardless of what you're doing, that all of your answers are in your words only, that you cannot copy from another source, even if you're citing that source, that I'm looking for your essay about the subject matter. Okay, so you have those 3 exams. And then each chapter that we do will have 2 required Blackboard discussions. The first one, in most cases, after the first chapter has 2 whole class discussions, but after that, starting with the second chapter, you'll have case studies to look at. You'll be in small groups that will be rotating, so you'll be in a different group of people every week. And you'll have a case study to read, and then a specific set of questions or tasks to answer or do about that case study. And those are worth 15 points each of those. I ask that you start those by Wednesday. Our chapters go for full weeks, opening on a Monday, closing on a Sunday. I ask that you start working on those case studies by Wednesday. And I'll be able to see your involvement in those discussions in your groups, and also be able to see when you participated. Obviously, you will not be able to earn full credit for that if you don't chime into your group until Sunday, because then you're not contributing to the group to the same degree. There'll be more explanation about exactly what you need to do on Blackboard. There will be one of you that, if for each group each week, I will assign one student to use a worksheet that I provide to just submit a synopsis of the group's work. And that will rotate. I'll keep track of that and make sure that is equitably distributed over the course of the semester. The second discussion is a whole class discussion. It's what I call a muddiest points discussion. And there, your initial post will be to post a question about the material from that chapter. And so either something that you're struggling to understand and want help with, something you think you understand but would like more clarity on, or something that you think you understand but would like, but you have a question that you don't think was addressed in the material, or something you're just curious about that you want to know more about. You'll work to answer at least one classmate. And so by answering, I mean answering their question, not just saying nice question, but actually trying to give them the information they're looking for. I will also jump in, excuse me, and participate in those discussions. And so that is going to be the bulk of your work. That is your work week by week. 1 second. Sorry. In addition to that chapter work, you also have, and the exams obviously, You'll also have a term paper to write. There'll be another video talking about the term paper, and there's detailed instructions on Blackboard. But that is worth 200 points out of your 1,000. And part of, in addition to the 200 points for the paper, you will need a month before the paper's due, you'll need to submit to me an APA style works cited page, and also 2 weeks before it's due, an outline. And that'll be an additional 25 points each. So total for all the term paperwork is 250 points. I'm not going to talk about that in detail now because there is that other video. Right, there'll also be some opportunity for extra credit in this class. Mostly that takes the form of a 50-point extra credit at the end of the semester. And so you can keep that in mind as you move through the work as well. So that's it for how you earn your grade. If we come down here, right, you'll see that our syllabus is fairly straightforward. We cover a chapter a week, and it opens on a Monday, closes on a Sunday. Work is always due Thursdays and Sundays. So initial work, like your Muddy's Point question, is due by Thursday. You have to post that by Thursday, and then by Sunday, you're going to be have answered a classmate, at least one, by Sunday, and finished up your participation in your group work. And then whoever is responsible for submitting the group work will do that by Sunday night. Whenever there's a due date, it is by 11:59 p.m. on that date. So you can see, it's fairly straightforward. We go through 4 chapters. The first week, starting on our first day of class, is an orientation week to get you settled in, get you used to the course, give you a chance to start reading the first chapter perhaps, but to kind of get your feet under you. And then starting next Monday, September 4th, we start doing our first chapter. And then so we have the first 4 chapters and then an exam. You'll see that it's open from Monday to Sunday. We continue doing chapter work even during exam weeks. We don't have the time to just have it be about the exam, right? And then we have another 5 chapters and then another exam. You can see it's clearly marked on the syllabus when you have the works cited and the outline and the term paper due. So all of this, I think, is fairly well spelled out. We have 1 week, Thanksgiving week, when we don't have any work due. Partly is that we only really have Monday and Tuesday that week, but I leave you that week with no chapter work at all so that you can devote some time to your term papers that'll be due just a week after we get back from Thanksgiving break. All right, and I think that kind of does it. So make sure you look for the other videos, and I look forward to getting to know all of you.